Why Linux is better. Here we will discuss following points one by one. Forget about viruses. If your computer shuts itself down without asking you, if strange windows with text you don't understand and all kinds of advertisements appear when you don't ask for them, if emails get sent to all your contacts without your knowing it, then your computer probably has a virus. The main reason for this is because it runs Windows. Linux hardly has any viruses. And that's not like, oh well, not very often, you know. That's like if you've ever heard of a real Linux virus, please tell me. Of course, a Linux virus is not impossible to get. However, Linux makes it very hard for this to happen, for several reasons. Is your system unstable? Have you ever lost your precious work because Windows crashed? Do you always shut down your computer the proper way, or do you sometimes just switch it off because Windows has gone crazy and doesn't let you do anything anymore? Have you ever gotten the blue screen of death or error messages telling you that the computer needs to be shut down for obscure reasons? Of course, no operating system is perfect, and people who tell you that theirs can never ever crash are lying. However, some operating systems can be so stable that most users never see their systems crash, even after several years. This is true for Linux. Linux protects your computer. Viruses, Trojans, adware, spyware. Windows lets all these enter your computer pretty easily. The average period of time before a Windows PC connected to the internet and with a default service pack 2 installation gets infected is 40 minutes, and it sometimes takes as little time as 30 seconds. So you can either 1. Install a firewall, 2. Install an antivirus program, 3. Install an anti-adware program, 4. Get rid of Internet Explorer and Outlook, replacing them with Firefox and Thunderbird, and 5. Pray that people trying to get into your computer aren't smart enough to overcome these protections, and that, if a security flaw is discovered, Microsoft will take less than a month to make an update available, and this doesn't happen very often. Or you can install Linux and sleep soundly from now on. Don't pay $100 for your operating system. And don't copy them illegally. You're probably saying to yourself, oh, I didn't pay for Windows. Are you absolutely sure if your computer came with a copy of Windows, then you paid for it, even if the store didn't tell you about that? The price for a Windows license amounts to an average of 1/4 of each new computer's price. So unless you obtained Windows illegally, you probably paid for it. Where do you think Microsoft gets its money from? On the other hand, you can get Linux completely free of charge. That's right, all these guys all around the world work very hard to make a neat, secure, efficient, good-looking system, and they are giving their work away for everybody to use freely. If you wonder why these guys do such things, drop me an email and I'll try to explain the best I can. Of course, some companies are making good business by selling support, documentation, hotline, etc. for their own version of Linux, and this is certainly a good thing. But most of the time, you won't need to pay a cent. No more crapware. If you've ever purchased a new computer running Windows, you must know that it can be a very frustrating experience. It all starts when you first turn it on. Countless windows start to open, asking you to subscribe for services, the premium version of an antivirus, games you never asked for, productivity applications requiring you to create an account online, etc. None of that with Linux. No program will nag you about subscribing, paying after a trial period ends, or just slow your computer down and make you wait some more. Well, it starts just when you thought it was ready to be used. Linux comes with everything that you need to start working right away, without the crapware. Freedom. Linux and open source software are free. This means their license is a free license, and the most common is the GPL General Public License. This license states that anyone is allowed to copy the software, see the source code, the recipe, modify it, and redistribute it as long as it remains licensed with the GPL. When the system has installed, why would you still need to install stuff? Installing Windows is just the beginning. Imagine you just installed your brand new copy of Windows 7 and prepare to unleash your computer skills. A friend sends you an email with an attached PDF file. Damn, you don't have a program to read it. You need to go online, search for a website that will let you download Adobe Reader or another PDF viewer, download it, install it, maybe even reboot. Woo, alright, now you're all set. Attached to your friend's email, you find a text document, file doc. Your Windows can't read that either, right now. Great. Either you go buy your copy of Microsoft Office or you just download OpenOffice, but still, you need to find it, download it. Let's hope you have a broadband connection, install it, etc. Your friend also sent you an image, but it has a bad contrast, bad luminosity, and needs a good crop. So you can now go and buy Photoshop. How many $100 is that again? Or download the GIMP. This is the name of the free program that can do nearly as much as Photoshop. Search, download, install, etc. That's enough, you get the idea. Windows is far from complete, and installing it is just the beginning of trouble. When you get Linux such as Ubuntu, Mandriva, Fedora, etc., these are different flavors of Linux you also get without installing anything more. Everything you need to write texts, edit spreadsheets, make neat presentations, draw, edit equations. A web browser egg Firefox, and an email program egg Thunderbird or Evolution. An image editor GIMP, nearly as powerful as Photoshop. An instant messenger. A movie player. A music player and organizer. A PDF reader. Everything you need to uncompress archives, zip, etc., etc. Forget about drivers. New pieces of hardware, even the simplest kind, usually come with a CD. On the CD, a very small piece of software called a driver. If you read the instructions manual, you'll know that the hardware won't work on a Windows computer until you install the driver. Linux doesn't need separate drivers. All the drivers are already included in the Linux kernel, the core of the system, and that comes with every single Linux installation. Update all your software with a single click. Windows has a pretty convenient tool called Windows Update, which allows you to update your system with the latest updates available. But what about all your non-Microsoft software? Adobe applications, zip compressor, burning program, non-Microsoft web browsers and email clients, etc. You need to update all of them one by one. And that takes time, since each one of them has its own auto-updating system. Linux has a central place called the package manager, which takes care of everything installed on your system, but also every single piece of software your computer has. So if you want to keep everything up to date, the only thing you need to do is press the Install Updates button. Why copy software illegally if you can get it for free? So, you're perfectly clean. You have purchased a license for all the software you've ever used and nobody can bother you about this. Well, if that's the case, congratulations. If you run Linux and install free software, you won't have to worry about this ever again. Most of free as in free speech software is free as in free beer. You can find a free replacement for most of the commercial software out there. They might lack some of the advanced functionality, but they'll be more than enough for most people. Need new software? Don't bother searching the web, Linux gets it for you. If you want to check out a new piece of software in Windows, you'll need 1. Search the web to find which piece of software suits your needs. 2. Find a website that allows you to download it. 3. Maybe pay for it. 4. Actually download the software. 5. Install it. 6. Sometimes reboot your computer. Woo, that's a lot of work to just try out something new. With Linux, everything is much simpler. Linux has what is called a package manager. Each piece of software is contained in its own package. If you need some new software, just open the package manager, type a few keywords, choose which software you want to install and press apply or OK, or you can just browse existing software. That's a lot of choice. In categories. Jump into the next generation of desktops. You have been impressed by the 3D and transparency possibilities first introduced in Windows Vista, and decided that these unique capabilities were worth a few $100s. You even bought a new computer so that you could meet Vista's very high requirements. Fooled you. Linux can do better, for free, and with much less demanding hardware requirements. Does your digital life seem fragmented? If you already know what fragmentation is and are already used to defragmenting your disk every month or so, here is the short version: Linux doesn't need defragmenting.